Thank you. Today we'll see if I got the right presentation. Went wrong last time. I'm going to talk about Stockholm and the streets and what we're doing there to encourage walking. First of all, where Stockholm is in the world, so you all know. And this is Stockholm. You see the central parts. It's a walkable city, but we have to do a lot. And it's a big city, you only see a small part of it here. There's quite long distances. In Stockholm we have a city plan and an urban mobility strategy which we are working with. And it says that, as in many cities today, pedestrians and cyclists goes first, then public transportations, and after that freight traffic, taxi and cars. And we are working after this prioritizing scheme, and it's all the political parties in the Stockholm municipality agree on this, which is very nice because then it makes it easier to promote walking. And we have underneath the urban mobility strategy a couple of plans. It's the plan for buses, cyclists, walking, goods, parking and road safety. And the walking plan is new, which we are working on. And the goals for the walking plan is to increase the share of local trips made by foot. And a majority part of the increase would be in the outskirts of the city, because in the central city it's quite easy to walk, but not in the outskirts of the city. For the strategy, we have an action plan, and this action plan says that we should have more tools for planning and prioritizing when we are talking about walking. And that means we have tools to measure walking and to analyze the streets and how to manage people to walk more efficiently. And we have some problems in Sweden. It's not the same as here, but especially weather conditions. It's quite difficult to walk sometimes in the winter. But it's also quite far distances in the city, and people feel that it's unsafe to walk. So, which I talked about in Mondays, we have the vision that it should be able to walk, to want to walk, to know how to walk, to dare to walk. And to be able, it should be logical. Alternative roads should be easy to find and should be free from barriers. And you want to walk, it should be populated, have a rich content and have quality. And its characteristics justify the choice to walk. So later on we're going to hear about the public transportations, but I want people to walk firstly. So it should be the best part in the city. And you should know how to walk. It should be an orientable system, transparent, signposted, and so on. And you should dare to walk. It should be safe, populated, well lit, and transparent from the environment, as you can perceive where to walk. And that's not the case, especially not when you go outside the city center. Well, in the action plan we also have the plan to invest in better pedestrian routes, like this one. It doesn't look like it's in a city, but it's in the city, actually. It costs a lot of money, but we are working hard to make better and nicer routes. And better pedestrian streets. This is in the city center, and you see in the left picture how the streets looks today. Well, we are working a lot on the street, so it doesn't look like this today. But before we started to tear it down, it looked like this. And the right picture, you can see a vision picture of what we are supposed to land in. And you can see we changed from how it should be, how it is today. The cars have nearly all the space, and then you have the pedestrian paths in the side. And then we had two alternative ways to change the street, with trams in the middle to remove a lot of the buses that's going there today, and put out cycling lanes and then pedestrian lanes. And the last one was the question if we could remove all the cars. This is one of the most central streets in the city, and we have now decided to remove all the cars. So the lowest one, that's what's going to be built and will be ready in 2018, and it should look like this, where you're walking, you're going by tram, and you are shopping and having a nice day in the city. We are working on better zebra crossings, and that's, it's always, well, I'm a politician, and it's always about money, how to do it and how to change the city, and to put out better zebra crossing is quite an cheap way to change the city. And this is a place where one of our car tunnels gets up in the middle of the city, and it was built in the 70s, and since then you haven't been able to walk on one of the sides of this street, and it's been impossible for many people. They don't understand why can't we walk here. So I decided that we change this. So that's me painting the zebra crossings to show it's quite easy. So that's a way to change the city. And we are working on a plan now to have broader zebra crossings, so where there are a lot of people, they will be able to walk without going straight into each other. And it's cheap, and the people in Stockholm loves it. And in the action plan we have operation and maintenance difficulties to solve, and this shows the winter. We want people to walk and cycle in the winter, and often there's a lot of snow. So we have a special operation cars, or what you call it, tractors, that sweep and salt the streets. And we started with the cycling lanes. It was quite a success. People started to cycle in the winter, and those who walked started to walk in the cycling lanes, of course. So now we are trying to change these machines so they can also sweep and salt the walking lanes. It costs a lot of money in the beginning, but it's quite cheap when it's there and to be able to use it. And we are extending the streets every year where we are using this technique. I know it's not a problem here in Hong Kong. And we have an action plan for temporary additions, and this is one of the way to make people want to walk. If you are out walking, you want to have quality. You want to have something to see, to meet, to experience. It should not be just be a pavement of concrete or some other fabric. You need something to experience. So we're working on this to have an attractiveness in the streets and places. And here you can see what we call summer pedestrian streets, and you have in the left corner you see the street in the winter. It's cold and it's a lot of cars standing everywhere. And in nearly all the streets in Stockholm, in central Stockholm, there are cars parked on the streets, on the side of the streets, and that's not so nice. We would like to have it in another way. So then we started a project which we call more lively Stockholm, more lively city. And you see in the right, you see the street in the summer. So we have about 3 to 4 months where we just shut down the cars. You are able to drive in the street with a car if you are living there, and you have to if there's something you have to transport to your home, because there's a lot of residentials in these streets. And you see the lions; they are waiting to block the streets for the cars. So it's quite nice to see in May when these lions are standing there just waiting to change the city and make it more walkable. And this has been quite a success, and we have had a lot of more streets this year. And the restaurants on the streets, they have doubled their incomes, and they have doubled their people working in the restaurants, and the shops also have had quite a success. So people in Stockholm love it, and when we took it away in September, people called me and wondered, why are you doing this? Can't you just have these walking streets, pedestrian streets? But we have an idea that in the winter there's cold and a lot of snow, and we don't want empty streets. So for a while we are going to let the cars go back, but we'll see when we come to a couple of years ahead, maybe we're going to change this. But today we think this is quite a nice way to change the city in a slow way, and people like it. And we have parks in parking lots. That's a new way to deal with it. You can rent a parking lot. It costs as much as what we would have gained from a car standing there a month, which is about 1,100 kroners, which I think is the same in Hong Kong dollars. And we have a special way to you can rent it, and if you have a house or you are a company or something, you can rent it and put in a parking lot wherever you like. We have some exceptions if there's something that's impossible because of some sort of transportation or disabled places and such things. And we are going to increase the amount of these parks. And this is also a way to make it a more livable and lively city. And you want to walk because you can stand, you can walk, and you can sit down and have a nice time in the park and start walking all the way. And then we have dinner instead of cars. There's also a new concept to make the street more walkable. The restaurants, they can hire the parking lots in the same way as you can have a park. And what the idea with this is that a lot of the restaurants, they want to have their tables in the pedestrian parts, and that's a problem. It gets too many tables and chairs and such things that you can't get through. So, well, then we remove the parking lots and put the tables in the street instead, and then you can walk. And this is also a concept that people love, I would say. Yes, and this is another one of our pedestrian streets. This is what we are doing in Stockholm. We are trying to change the city and make it more walkable. Well, it is a quite walkable city, but we have a lot of problems from the 60s and 70s that have destroyed some of our best walking paths. And we have a lot of cars. In the beginning of the 50s, you were nearly not able to park a car in the city. You couldn't. And then they just let it go loose, and you can park everywhere, and that we are trying to change. So that's what we're doing in Stockholm. Thank you.